Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to your fourth grade math, week 2, day 1 of teleschool. The activity that we will work on is relating decimals to fractions. The standard that we will focus on is 4.NF.6. Use decimal notation for fractions with denominators 10 or 100. Let's say, for example, you have the decimal 6,200. And I'm pretty sure you're saying, well, Miss Kendall, how do you know that's 6,200? Well, of course, I know my place value, and you've been taught your place value as well. The 0 represents our placeholder for our whole numbers in the ones place. We don't have any whole numbers, so we're going to just put a 0 for a placeholder. Now, sometimes when people write decimals, they leave the placeholder out. You're not wrong, you're not right. It's just what you choose to do. It's okay. But I know this decimal reads 6,200 because I have a 0 in my placeholder for my ones, which represent the whole numbers. I have my decimal point. Now I'm getting to parts of a whole number. My 6 is in the 10th place on the place value chart, and the 2 is in the 100th place on a place value chart. So I will read this decimal as 6,200. If I wanted to rewrite this decimal as a fraction, I will write the number 62, draw my fraction bar, and then I will write the number 100. Let's go on to the rest of our lesson. Let's do a quick review relating decimals to fractions. Decimals and fractions both name a part of a whole. Once again, decimals and fractions both name a part of a whole. Also remember too that decimals and fractions, they're also numbers as well. It's just a different way to write a number. Decimals can be written as fractions. So let's look at these decimals that we wrote as fractions. So we have 3/10. Like I said before, we know our place value. In this example, they didn't use their placeholder, which is okay. They didn't include a 0, but it's fine. We have our decimal point. Then we have a 3 in the 10th place. So you will rewrite the fraction as 3/10. You will write the number 3, draw your fraction bar, and then you will rewrite the number 10. Let's look at the decimal 4,500. We know it's 4,500 because we have our decimal point, we have a 4 in the 10th place, and a 5 in the 100th place. So we can rewrite it as a fraction, write the number 45, draw your fraction bar, and then write the number 100. Now let's look at writing fractions as decimals. You have 6/10. We want to rewrite it as a decimal. Some people may want to include their placeholder. Some people may not. It's okay. We have our decimal point, and then we have the number 6, and it's in the what place? It's in the 10th place. The 10th place, because remember, we know our place value, right? Let's look at 1,800. If we want to rewrite it as a decimal, you can write 0 for your placeholder, decimal point, 1 in the 10th place, and the number 8 in the 100th place. Let's look at our chart. We have 2/10 as a decimal. This is how you will write it as a fraction. 2,500 as a decimal. Here it is as a fraction. 6/10 as a decimal. Here it is in fraction mode. All right, so let's get into a quick review of our lesson. Lesson 21, relate decimals and fractions. You know how to write equivalent fractions with denominators of 10 and 100. In this lesson, you will learn another way to write these fractions. Take a look at this problem. I'm going to give you a few seconds to read it independently. All right, so it says Max has 248 pennies. How many whole dollars does Max have? What fraction of a dollar is left over? So I know you're wondering, what are these called? These are called our 100th grids. And the reason we call it a 100th grid is because this square is partitioned into 100 equal parts. You have 10 squares going down in each column, and then each row has 10. So if you add all of them up, it's going to equal to 100. That's why it's called a 100th grid. So we're using visual models to help us write fractions and decimals. Let's look at A. How many pennies are there in $1? We all know that there are 100 pennies in a dollar. We know that. We learned that probably in kindergarten? We know that. All right, let's look at B. How many whole dollars can you make with 248 pennies? How many cents are left over? All right, let's think about this. They want to know, because look at this problem. This is a two-step problem, right? First, we need to figure out how many whole dollars can we make out of 248 pennies. Now, let's go back up to part A. Now, I know that 100 pennies is equal to $1. So I have 200 pennies within this. So this will give me 2 whole dollars, right? So let's write 2 whole dollars. Oops, sorry. Okay, so it says how many cents are left over. Now, we know that in 2 whole dollars, that will be 200 pennies. So 248 minus 200 is equal to what? You got it, 45. So guess what? It's going to be 48. My bad. It's going to be 48 cents left over. We'll just put the little cent sign. All right, let's look at C. 1 cent is equal to what fraction of a dollar? So it says 1 cent is equal to what fraction of a dollar? So let's see. If we use this 100th grid, and let's say that the whole 100th grid was white, and I only just colored in one of these little squares, that will represent that 1 cent. So 1 cent is equal to what fraction of a dollar? It's equal to 1/100th. So I drew my number 1, my fraction bar, and up under my fraction bar, I'm going to write the number 100. I hope you all can see this. Sorry. All right, let's look at D. If 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar, what fraction of a dollar is 48 cents? Whoa. Okay, let's think about it. So we know that 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. So if we had 48 cents, what fraction of a dollar would it be, boys and girls? If you said 48/100th, then guess what? You are super smart because you are correct. So we will write 48, our fraction bar right up under it, and then the number 100. So this is how you will write it as a fraction. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. Oh, look what we have. We have a place value chart. Remember I talked about those whole numbers and that place value and that placeholder? This is exactly what I'm talking about in the place value chart. So let's think about it. If we had $2.48, or like on the previous page, it said 248 pennies, which is equivalent to $2.48. If we wanted to write it as a decimal, we will write 2, the decimal point, 48. We will have a 4 in the 10th place and an 8 in the 100th place. Ooh, let's do some practice. All right, so let's look at it. What is 7,500 written as a fraction? And I'm pretty sure you all are saying, well, Miss Kendall, how do you know that decimal says 7,500? Well, of course, again, I know my place value. You know your place value as well. We have a 0 as a placeholder in our ones place for our whole number. We have our decimal point. We have a 7 in the 10th place and a 5 in the 100th place, which lets me know that this is going to say 7,500. So let's look at our answer choices. Let's look at A. It has 7,500, but then it has it over 100. No, we don't write fractions like that because guess what? Our fractions shouldn't include a decimal point. So let's just slash and trash it. We don't want A. Let's look at B. Does this represent 7,500? Nope, nope, nope. Let's go ahead and slash and trash. Slash and trash. Slash and trash when we don't want it, right? All right, let's look at C. 75, we got a fraction bar, and 100. 7,500. 7,500. Okay, C. This is exactly what we're looking for. Letter C. It says, what fraction and decimal are equivalent? Ooh, I like this one. It says circle all that apply. All right, so this fraction says 4/10. And this decimal is saying, that's not 4/10. No, that's 400. So those are not equivalent. Slash and trash. We don't want it. We don't want it. Let's slash and trash. We don't want it. It's not equivalent. All right, let's look at B. 600. And no, this saying 600. 600. 600. Nah, nope. They're not equivalent in no shape, form, and fashion. Let's slash and trash. Slash and trash. We don't want it. We don't want it. Let's slash and trash. All right, let's look at C. 3/10 and 3/10. Oh, this is 3/10. So 3/10 and 3/10 is equivalent. This is the way you write it as a fraction. This is the way you're going to write it as a decimal. So I definitely want to keep letter C. All right, let's look at D. 900. 900. Oh, got another one. 900 as a fraction and 900 as a decimal. Yeah. All right, let's look at E. 7/10 and you know what this decimal is? This is a decimal with a whole number and a fraction. So this decimal reads 7/10. I'm sorry, 7 and 10/100. Sorry. And this is how you would actually write it as a fraction. 7. 10/100.